Boxer's Confessions starring Joseph Spidey Parker. Joseph Parker has admitted his toughest fight in his career wasn't against Anthony Joshua, nor Zhilei Zhang, nor Deontay Wilder. It was against Joe the Juggernaut Joyce. Okay. And he stated that it wasn't a great night for me. It was tough, says Parker. He says the pressure and the fact that I wasn't healthy made it hard. Mentally, I thought I'd smash this guy. But after one round, I thought, damn, it's not going well. And let me counterpunch. Based on what Joseph said, if you saw that fight, you knew that was kind of like it was like a guy fighting with his last breath, and he fought diligently only to be overpowered, to be beaten. I mean, it was like an heroic attempt. Okay, like he attempted to fight and defeat Joseph Parker. It was just like the bigger good guy beat a bigger or a bet, like the good little guy was beaten by the good big guy. That's what it looked like to me, right? And the only problem I have with this, because this is not surprising, because this was before the actual chin, the force field jawline of Joe Joyce was cracked. Okay, so this is what it was. You know, Joe Joyce just seemed indestructible. He seemed to take whoever's shots and keep coming to land his own until the year after that, okay? Because that was late 2022. Now, keep in mind, he said that the pressure and the fact that I wasn't healthy made it hard. So my question is it him being the hardest fight, or was it because he wasn't in the best of shape? That's the question I asked. Because I even looked at Joseph Parker and seen that he had gained some weight. He wasn't like he normally was. You know, when I think of Joseph Parker, I think of a guy that's pretty, not small, not skinny, but not big and bulky neither. You know, he has a type of body shape that, you know, he comes off that he can throw combinations. You know, when he fought Dillian White and when he fought Anthony Joshua the first time, especially when he fought Andy Ruiz, that's the ideal weight for Joseph Parker, because that's the Joseph Parker that gives people problems, especially if referees let him fight a certain way. Okay, just keep that in mind. But with him saying I wasn't healthy, I wasn't healthy, made it hard, it almost comes off like an excuse. And that's what I don't really care for, because it's like either he was a tough mother sucker because he was just tough, or did you make it tougher because you didn't come the way you supposed to came in the fight? That's what you ask yourself. You know, I didn't really care for that, but nonetheless, he's in that fight. And however he was in that fight, or however he claimed he felt in that fight, he still got dealt with in that fight by Joe Joyce. And again, you have to see that fight. I'll leave the link below to let you guys check that fight out if you haven't saw that fight, at least the highlights, because I know our attention spans, unfortunately, are getting shorter. Okay, so I will send you the highlights of that fight. And Joe Joyce, it just shows you how fast and unforgiving this sport is when it comes to people that were straight savages and Billy badasses like Joe Joyce was. Joe Joyce was a fighter that he was before he got beat, he was 15 or 16-0 before he got beat, and with 14 KOs, I believe it was, or was it 15 KOs? Let's see. Joe Joyce had, I'm looking at his box rec. Here it is. Joe Joyce had 16 wins, 15 by knockout, no losses, and no draws. And this all went up. He was undefeated up until the last quarter of 2022. And it just showed you, within the last 4 fights, he's lost 3 of them. And his last fight with him and Derek Chisora showed you that he was no longer that guy that he used to be, especially with the jaw force field, right? Because he had a chin, but he also had a gas tank, which made him incredibly dangerous because if you can't hurt him or you can't knock him down, how can you stop him? That was the question. And Joseph Parker didn't have the firepower to stop him, even though I do think he was a little big, but I think he needed that punching power to move forward, but it didn't help him in Joe Joyce. Now, the $1 million question is, will that extra weight help him with Daniel Dubois, his next upcoming fight? Okay. But you guys tell me what you think of Joseph Parker stating that Joe Joyce was the hardest fighter that he's ever fought in the ring, despite all the people that he's challenged over his years. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch.